All right, today we're going to be looking at some more angles and using algebra to solve for some missing angles. All right, so in each case, write an equation that can be used to find x and find the angle measure. Let's do the odds together. So for number one, it tells us that m is parallel to n. That's important because these relationships only exist if the two lines are parallel cut by a transversal. So here we have an acute angle, and here we have an obtuse angle, which is our hint that those are supplementary and not congruent. So we're going to add them and set them equal to 180. So we get 4 times 5x plus 4 plus 9x minus 10 equals 180. Distribute the 4, we get 20x plus 16 plus 9x minus 10 equals 180. 20x plus 9x is 29x. 16 minus 10 is positive 6 equals 180. Subtract 6 from both sides, and 29x equals 174. Divide by 29, and your guess is as good as mine. I don't know that division off the top of my head, so we're going to take out our calculator and do 174 divided by 29. Whoops, 174 divided by 29. Wow, this does not want to work for me. 174 divided by 29. What is going on? Is 6. Woo, that took a long time. So x equals 6. So now we can plug that in and find our angles. So we have 9 times 6 minus 10, which is 54 minus 10, or 44. And 4 times 5 times 6 plus 4 is 4 times 30 plus 4, or 4 times 34, which 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 more is 13, so it's 136. And then 136 and 44 add up to 180, so we know we did this right. So all of our obtuse angles are going to be 136, and all of our acute will be 44. Okay, again, making sure to label all of the angles so you prove that you understand how they are associated. All right, let's take a look at another example. Number 3. All right, again, those two lines are parallel, proving that we have some angle relationships here that we can look at. We have this 10x plus 3 is this angle, and that's obtuse, and this 8 times 2x minus 9 is this angle. They are also obtuse, meaning that they are congruent to each other, so we can set them equal to each other. So we have 10x plus 3 equals 8 times 2x plus 9. So that's 10x, not plus 9, minus 9. So that's 10x plus 3 equals 16x minus 72. We can subtract 10x from both sides. So 3 equals 6x minus 72. Then add 72 to both sides. So 6x equals 75. Then divide by 6, and I'm not going to bother using the calculator this time because it's just going to get messed up. 6 goes into 7 once with 1 left over. 6 goes into 15 twice with 3 left over. So that's going to be 12.5. So x is 12.5, and we can use that to find our missing angles. So we plug that in. 10 times 12.5 plus 3 is 125 plus 3, or 128. Now, the other one should also be equal to 128 because we said they're equal to each other. So we have 8 times 2 times 12.5 plus or minus 3, or minus 9. That's going to give us 8 times 25 minus 9. So that's 8 times 16. 8 times 6 is 48. And 8 plus 4 is 12. So we did get it right with 128 degrees. So all my obtuse angles are 128. And to get the acute ones, we do 180 minus 128. which gives us 52 degrees. Okay, so again, this can be tricky. Make sure you're setting it up correctly. Take your time when you're solving and make sure you plug it into all of the angles when you're done. All right, let's continue. Okay, number 5. So now we have a word problem. Two parallel lines are crossed by a transversal. One angle is given as 38 less than 3 times another angle, or 3 times a number. So let's write that out. 38 less than 3 times a number is 3x minus 38. An angle that is corresponding to that angle, so we know congruent, so it equals, is given as 26 more than 2 times the same number. So 2x plus 26. Find the number. So right away I saw corresponding, and I remember that corresponding means they're congruent, so I just set them equal to each other. We can subtract 2x from both sides. We get x minus 38 equals 26. Then we can add 38 to both sides. So x equals 6 plus 8 is 14, 64 degrees. Okay, so they're corresponding angles. X is 64. We plug it in to find the angles. So that's 3 times 64 minus 38, and 2 times 64 plus 26. 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 more is 19. So that's 192 minus 38. So I can't do the math that way. If I'm going to do it without a calculator, I need to write it this way. Borrowing, I got 8 and 12. So that's 4 and 5, which is 154 degrees. Then over here, 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 6 is 12. So that's 128 plus 26. I can write it vertically as well. I'm doing it without a calculator. 8 and 6 is 14, carry the 1. 2 and 2 and 1 more is 5. Bring down the other one, and again, it's 154 degrees. So we found x is 64, and we found the angle measure, which is 154. All right, so remember, anything where you know it's congruent angles, you set them equal to each other. All right, so you're going to complete the evens on your own. Again, I'll be around to help you guys out. Please be sure to ask questions if you're confused.